I think a lot of you will be able to relate to this video. This is going to be a very casual video about some updates going on in my life and with my brand and the business and so on. And, it starts with frustration, overwhelm, overwork, a little bit of burnout, confusion, ADHD, like just kind of getting pulled in all the ways with no real answers. And this can just happen out of nowhere, even though you're fully confident in one way or another, then all of a sudden you're like, it's not exactly what I want to happen. It's not exactly how it should be going. And most people have a paralysis by analysis and stop everything, try to plan, fix it, I just got to do this. I just got to do this. I just. And as many times as I've done that in my life, I felt like this time I just haven't really been doing too much on purpose, because a lot of the things, the content, just to create, to make sure I just got to do this, I just got to do that, wasn't aligned. I completed my branding a little premature. It was more aligned with older parts of my life and older brand elements that I felt like, it just doesn't feel right, but it was cool. And there was something wrong in my gut. I'm just like, this is not correct. So I decided to I noticed a resistance in every single thing I did. And that resistance just kept showing up, whether it was make a video, talk about this or that. I'm like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about making money. I don't want to do it. Just something happened every single time. And I was like, what is this? What is going on? And then I'd try to start working on planning on some content. And then I'd be so overwhelmed in my brain, I'd need a nap. Like, no joke. I'd be like, I can't. And then I'd be like, oh, let me brainstorm and so on. It's like all of the problems of doing a business just kept punching me in the face. And I was losing the battle. So I was like, you know what, let's stop. Let's look at this again. And one of the most important parts of branding is being aligned with the truest sense, the truest identity. And for me, I think my brand truly is about understanding on a deep level, on an emotional level, and being fully accepting of the parts of that brand, of that personality, and doubling down on the parts that are truest. And then when you work on the things that need work that maybe aren't really as great as they should be, then you can do those over time and with a little bit more intention. So that's basically what I did. And I started backtracking and I removed the red from my branding. I removed some of the fonts. There's this cold edge. There's a lot of motion graphics. So that's kind of really what was going on. Motion graphics, not as an element, but like that side of my life and the past. And I was like, no, I want a warmer side. I want it to be more true to me. So I've kind of rebranded some elements. And then that got me to the next thing. I was like, okay, well, now let's kind of the brand strategies worked on. I reassessed like the identity and all these things, and it's feeling good. But then it was like, okay, content strategy. And that's what kind of where I've been thinking quite a bit lately. And I'm like, well, where am I going to go with this? And I'm very excited about this direction. And if you noticed, I have changed the lines around my brand to brand psychology and content philosophy. And that is going to be the direction I'm going to be going. I'm personally just tired of this make money, do this, funnel that, blah, blah, blah. Too many sources of how to do things and nobody implements any of them. Even if they're good, I just think they're tired. I don't believe in a lot of the things anymore. I think the best systems are the ones that are built around your own way. It's got to be customized. And even better than a system is no system, a part where you can remove elements of your business and your brand. So I'm going to be approaching everything with a much softer edge, a much more understanding, emotional, supportive side, not in the sense of like, oh, it's okay to do this. And I'm not saying it like that, like being soft to the touch. I'm saying soft in the sense of like, I'm not going to be jamming these funnels and systems down your throat unless I truly believe in them. And I think you should really try them. But it's got to be more about you, not about me, what I think and my systems and so on. I need to share an approach that you'll actually implement, one that's actually going to change your life, one that's actually going to be used and not just another tool in your toolbox, making your toolbox even bigger Then you got to get a whole van to bring all your tools around in the analogy. Like, why don't we pare back and just figure out what tools we actually use? That's how when I did, I used to install whole house audio video and build home theaters and do this for like a good 8 years. And everybody had all these crazy toolboxes. But me, I was like, no, I'm going to pare down to just the important things. And I was very good at my job. And I managed to get down to just a simple toolbox, just one very small, light toolbox, maybe medium size, small, and then a little roll up of a couple hand tools that I could even fit in there because there was space in there. And I just kept getting rid of things. I kept finding ways to solve things like, I wouldn't need a baseboard trimmer, forget the name. I could just use my Sawzall, or I could just find a way to score it and just do it in other ways because of the lack of frequency of needing that tool. I didn't need to carry that. There was no need. Or I could use somebody else's. So you can divvy up tools if you have a team. But the idea here is to make this video and say, hey, listen, I get it, because if you're like me, you probably just hate the internet. You probably hate going on Instagram. And you watch these things, you're like, oh, that's cool. Oh, I have fear of missing out. What is the next important thing? Oh, I love this creator. What's he going to say next? I love that. I believe that a creator should be more about reinforcing a view than introducing. And introducing ideas is important, but there should only be the same idea introduced and just spoken about over and over and over again. So right now I'm trying to find the words, and Alex Hormozi really is so eloquent in the way that he refines and simplifies the things. But to me, I'm just sick of watching the same dumb money-making, do this, content strategy, brand this, brand that, things, and they don't really actually help me. I think they're cool, I think it's knowledge, but if it's useless, then I didn't need to consume it or learn it. I think it's important to know what I don't like now. And I think that's the game that we have to play a lot on social media, on YouTube. Instead of what are we looking for, what's the solution, why don't we find out? First takeaway from this video is, why don't you figure out what you don't want to do? What you don't like, what type of content you don't like, what type of brands you don't like. Hey, real quick, I wanted to let everybody know that I built a little form for you down below to work through this video with me so that you can apply the things that I'm talking about in this video to your brand specifically, and kind of just see where this lands you and maybe get some insight, something to make your life and your brand a lot easier and a lot better, and your content make it just more powerful. Start putting a mental bin of things that are not aligned with you, because you're going to find probably more clarity in focusing on a bunch of things you just don't like for your own thing. And then you'll probably end up like me, where there was a good 3 weeks I was like, I don't know what to do. I just don't like all this stuff that's not right. I don't know what to do. And I just sat with that, and it was hard. It was really and mentally just heavy. It was just total anguish on every, just my thoughts were just, I couldn't do anything. I was paralyzed, to be honest, mentally. And I just sat with it. I just stuck my heels, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to figure out what is going on. What is this? And I just realized it isn't about what's out there, the type of content that I want to make, finding the things I like out there. It was going back to who I am, who my brand is, who I want to speak to, who do I think I can help, and find that tone and find that is your brand. That is your identity, your personality, everything. And I really believe that this is the fix that my personal brand needed, and one that I teach even, but for some reason, it's so hard to implement a lot of things yourself. But I stuck with it, and I'm now getting out on the other side feeling very fresh. And I'm ready to start making content very soon. I'm going to kind of do some tests. I'm going to create content, maybe some trial reels, and see how that goes. I'll probably archive a whole bunch of videos already and just kind of clean slate a lot of things, because honestly, I think alignment is the key here. And even if things were helpful, I could just redo it with the same tone that I could speak in now, with the confidence and the certainty that was missing before. I don't need to speak super fast or have text and screen and all this stuff just because that's what I'm told. That is not me, and that's not the brand I want. I think that it's really important to be authentic in the sense of who you are and who you want to help and who you think you can do the best service for. And I think that started with finding out what I don't like and who I don't want to work with and so on. So that's this video. It's kind of a turning point. And I hope you enjoy the new direction. I hope that you are my client, whoever is watching this, and you do want to work together in the future, or at least you comment more, you like more, you get more obsessed with the angle and the approach that I would take to everything. Because for me, I'm quite excited. I'm quite relieved, I guess is a better word. I feel the pressure of content, advertising, marketing, work just wash away. I just feel light. And I want to share this feeling that it can be that way. So until next time, talk to you later.